Welcome to Wheels, Deals, and Meals, where we talk all things good food, good business, and good cars. And now, here is your host, Arnold Gasita, founder and CEO of Petra Automotive Products. Let's roll.
Well, I'm excited to have, of all the podcasts I've done, this is the one with the best haircut. This guy has the best haircut of anybody that I've ever interviewed. A great friend. We're growing in friendship. He's also an extremely successful businessman and part of our board in Petra Cares. Sam Diaz. Sam, thanks for being on.
Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure.
Good haircut. Did you put wax on it or?
Yeah, just for today. Special for
you
today.
Still have your beard very black though, compared to mine.
I'm like 40 years younger than you.
With my with my fatness and my white beard and Christmas, I fit perfectly with the right uniform. So Sam, let me ask you this: what is the Sam dream car that Sam wants in the Sam Museum one day, if you don't have it already?
Growing up, I loved the Mercedes AMG, all the AMG cars. And when we sold our business 5-6 years ago, I bought my first AMG, a C63. But the AMG I like the most is the GT, the current GT AMG model. But it wasn't practical right now, just 2 seats. So I have the C63, and then recently I bought Kimberly, my wife, a G-Wagon.
She likes the G-Wagon?
AMG, yeah. She likes the G-Wagon.
Those G-Wagons AMG are great.
Yeah, a lot of power.
If you bought it now, that's probably wise compared to 2022.
Right.
When you're going to pay a big surcharge for wanting that wagon.
Yeah. It's not the most economic car.
No. But even more, I remember friends calling me up going, hey, I'm trying to buy this G-Wagon and I'm getting charged. I said, buddy, you are not going to get one today unless you pay that upcharge. But I think you can actually order it and wait and not get the upcharge. Right. But if somebody got their hands on a brand new one, you're gonna pay the upcharge. All right, of all the places you've traveled, what's your favorite?
Spain is my favorite place. I'm going this Friday, as you know, with my daughter, father-daughter trip. I was able to live there back in '89 in Barcelona. I just love it, the way they live life. I remember when I moved there as a young 23-year-old in '89, so you can do the math. Getting there, they told me, the difference is you in America, you guys live to work. We work to live here.
Yeah.
I'm not saying one's right or the other, but that lifestyle, I just love it. And then, of course, the food and the beauty, the natural beauty.
But I think there is something to it.
Yeah.
I think we hustle and bustle a lot.
Right.
What did I hear yesterday? I forgot. It was a comment yesterday, and I'm going to butcher this. The guy says, we hustle and bustle and run to accomplish near death, right? like we work our butts off to accomplish all these things right before we die.
Yeah.
Where a lot of people around the world are hustling and bustling, but maybe that's to the extreme because they're going to enjoy life along the way.
Exactly.
And I think that's what you said. So within 24 hours, I've heard this little message twice,
we have to celebrate, enjoy the moment.
Right.
Enjoy some success along the way, those incremental successes.
Now, when you say Spain, you like all of Spain? Or is there a particular city? You mentioned Barcelona. Is Barcelona your favorite city in Spain?
Barcelona is my favorite, and more than just Barcelona, all of Catalonia, the Catalan culture, I was attracted to it when I lived there, and I understood the culture of that region. And without getting too far back into the history of Spain, it was its own country at a moment. But just their view, because it's the hardest working, or what they would tell you, and I believe the hardest working region of Spain, and they probably have 40% of the GDP comes from that region. So they have a hard-working view on life, but they also enjoy the moments. And then there's a lot of natural beauty in Barcelona and in the greater Catalonia region that's attractive to me. But all of Spain has different flavors. As you know, it's such a big country.
Yeah.
It's like the U.S. is very different.
They're like the Texas of the U.S. They want to separate.
They do want to separate.
try it all the time. They
try
got
it
their
all
own
the time.
flag.
They know it's not. I think they really know it's never going
Right,
to happen,
right,
but
right.
they're driving home the point.
So have you noticed that the flag of their separation country is the Cuban flag, but orange and yellow? Have you noticed that?
Oh yeah, yeah.
So when you go there, look at it. It's the Cuban flag. And they changed the color.
Yeah, especially for the other thing that sends the message. If you're ever in Barcelona, and you go to where they have the regional government head, the central government is right across the street. So the central government is flying the Spanish flag. The regional government only flies the Catalan flag. That's like if you went to Austin and we only flew the Texas flag.
Right. And there's a federal building in the front that had the...
But you know, we fly in every state. We fly the American flag also, but they don't even fly the Spanish flag.
No, I know. They were very... I know I've only been there once, but when I went, they were very proud and spoke up about their...
Yeah, they're very proud of their language, and they speak the language in their area, and which is great.
Yeah,
it's great.
It's good to be proud of where you're at. I will tell you that I had a blast at Barcelona. I think Barcelona is one of easily in my top 5 favorite places. The people, I love the fact that, like after we went to a show or whatever, we could be walking down any alley, not even a main street, and they have those restaurants that are like garage doors.
Right.
So this garage door open, and you walk into this restaurant that maybe has 8 tables, and you sit down and eat phenomenal, and the owner comes out and pours you these little after drink. I don't know what they're called, but there was some after drink that he would pour you. It was phenomenal. It was just a great ambiance and a great place to be at. We even went and saw the flamenco.
Oh, you went to a flamenco show?
In front of the old theater, the original theater. But anyway, I love Barcelona too. I think Barcelona is wonderful. I like experiencing those, settings. I compare Spain a little bit also to like Italy, right?
Right.
They a little bit laid back. We're gonna have our little wine. We're gonna relax, and I like it. I really do. Venice is what I also say is very similar. You can go to any little hole in Venice, and again, restaurants, 6 tables, and you can just go eat, and the owner comes out, and you just have the most phenomenal food.
Food. I find, especially in Southern Europe, is an equalizer. My wife and I, we prioritize travel, so we traveled a lot, and it's because we decided that that's where we want to invest in our life.
Yeah.
We're less about things, so we like
about the experience.
The experiences. So we've gone to Italy quite a few times, and we're going later this year. And I remember this experience when you mentioned the food is, we stopped along the road at what was a truck stop. Not like our truck stops, but it was, a lot of truckers were there, and we walked in there, and they had mussels on the menu. So if you're thinking here in the U.S., I don't know if I would order mussels at a Pilot or a Love's truck stop. Nothing against those truck stops, and I would.
It's like sushi at a Pilot, right?
Exactly. But we ordered it, and we always comment it was the best mussels we've ever had. And then in talking with folks, it's like, why shouldn't everybody, regardless of your status in society, eat well? And that was the message. It's such an equalizer that everybody should eat good food, eat well all the time. And it should be accessible to everybody.
And I think, look, I have no scientific fact to this, but we travel a lot. We go to Europe a lot. We love Europe, Mediterranean as well. And I was just hearing a podcast on this about all the bad stuff we have in food, right? And how we eat so much processed food, and how they're linking it to Alzheimer's and all this other stuff, right? I know that I go to Europe, right? You're on vacation, you're not on a diet, you eat whatever you want, whenever you want. You come back and you've lost weight.
Yeah.
You don't feel bloated and you've lost weight. And you're eating and you're drinking wine like crazy, right?
Exactly.
But here, it's you eat a little and you feel like, oh man, I feel so full, And I do believe, right? I'm not a scientist. I don't have any facts. I've said this. I do believe there is something different in the food. That you can go to a hole in the wall or a truck stop, and the food is just natural and good, and not like over setting.
Yeah.
You know, of course, as a fat guy, you know, I want to find any excuse of why I'm fat other than me eating a lot,
Other
right?
than eating too much.
Yeah. It's not that I eat a lot; it's that other guy's fault, you know.
Exactly.
But okay, so bucket list. Where do you want to go that you haven't been?
So, I mean, this year, at the end of the year, we're taking a bucket list trip. We're going to Singapore and Japan. That was on the list. But really, a safari in Botswana or in South Africa, that's on our list. So that's still on the
Kid
list.
on our board's been. You should ask him.
Okay.
Just last night, I was with him, and he said one of his favorite trips that I should go.
Yeah. That is on our list, and it will happen. Maybe it'll happen next year.
Yeah,
we prioritize those things, so we knock them off the list.
I would put that on my bucket list. My bucket list is Turkey.
Turkey. Oh,
Have you been there?
we're going to take Turkish Airways to fly to Italy when we go at the end of this year, and then we're going to spend just a night on the way back in Istanbul. But we want to go there. We couldn't coordinate.
I mean, you know, night in Istanbul would probably be magical as well.
Yeah. Well, and now they've been a while with Turkish Airways flying. It's making your trip to Turkey very easy.
Very easy,
It's
right?
a direct flight.
Like you know, yeah, for sure. Okay, favorite food.
I don't know if I have one favorite food. I mean, I picked this restaurant because I like, boiled seafood and
Cajun style.
Cajun influenced food, for sure. I mean, a good paella, a well done paella.
Like in Barcelona.
Like in Barcelona, we did a party years ago here on a Christmas Eve, and we had folks come in and do a paella, a well-made paella where you have the socorro, the crispy rice on the bottom.
La raspa.
La raspa, la rapita.
That I agree with you. I mean, paella is one of my favorite, and it's hard to get a good paella. The problem is, it's hard to get. So everywhere I go that there's a paella, I usually try it, and 90% of the time I'm disappointed.
Right.
But Barcelona, I remember we would go again, hole in the wall, it didn't matter. We went to a nice place on the beach, phenomenal paella, hole in the wall, order paella. It's all delicious.
Yeah.
It's all delicious and real. And you gotta have that raspa you're talking about.
Yeah.
That little burnt.
Oh, that burnt
piece.
rice.
Yeah.
That's critical.
That's it. All right, Sam, where were you born?
I was born in Hialeah, Florida. So you're familiar because I know you're Miami. So it's
It's a piece of Cuba in America.
a piece of Cuban America. It's an adjacent. It's not really a suburb, but let's say it's an adjacent city. And now Hialeah is enormous. So I grew up there. I lived in Hialeah till I was 21. Took a job in Tampa.
Did you go to Hialeah High School?
I went to Hialeah Miami Lakes High, the Trojans.
So where's that at?
It's where near where Hialeah ends and Miami Lakes
Okay.
starts.
So more up north.
More north, correct.
Yeah.
More north.
Okay. Because there's a Hialeah. Is it 12? There's a high school right there, right?
There's Hialeah High, which is on the east side of Hialeah, and then
That's the serious side of Hialeah, bro.
Yeah. That's where the factories were and all that. And then HML, Hialeah Miami Lakes, was on the west side.
So I had
Hialeah.
I believe I had two aunts that went to Hialeah High School.
Okay.
There. So we were on that industrial side of Hialeah when we first
Sure.
came from
Yeah.
Cuba.
Yeah, well, that's where a lot of Cubans settled. I mean, when I was growing up in Hialeah, it was probably 85% Cuban families.
But you were born in Hialeah
I was born
and
in Hialeah.
raised in Hialeah,
And raised in Hialeah.
which is almost like a 99% true Cuban.
Yeah.
know?
I remember later on in my life living in, a little older, after I came back from Spain, to give you an idea how Cuban that is. And I had some friends that I had met in Spain come visit me. I moved to Barcelona, I was 23, so I came back, so I had young friends come visit me. And we were walking around Little Havana. And they walked in a store, and right when they walked in, they said, wait a second. They walked back out, and the sign on the door said, Hablamos Inglés, we speak English.
Yes.
And he was like, aren't we in
America?
Yeah, I said, you are in America, but this is Little Havana, and it's not always a guarantee.
I remember when I was, we came from Cuba to Miami and lived 5 years in Miami. They came to Houston, so I grew up in Houston Point. But I remember as I went back to Miami, it would always crack me up. Like we would go to that Navarro drugstore or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
And it would say, we speak English. And it would crack me up, because everywhere in the world it was, hablamos español, not there. It was, hey, we do have a couple guys that speak English. The rest are Spanish, But we do have a couple guys that speak English, or sedanos.
Sedano. Talk about Navarro. It's a powerhouse. It is a powerhouse of a drugstore in South Florida.
It is. They were powerful. I don't know if you.
Oh, they're enormous now.
I don't know.
I think they've sold maybe to.
I think so too. I think you're
to
right.
CVS or Walgreens.
But I think they kept
the name.
Because it was
whoever
a
bought
powerful
them,
name.
was like there's brand equity.
Right.
We're not changing the name.
Right. All right. So you grew up in Miami. You leave when you're 21. Did you go to college after high school?
I went to some college after high school. I didn't finish, so I got a job in a company called T&T, a global transportation company, and they gave me an opportunity to move to Tampa. So I said, yeah, I'll do it. I'll eventually finish school. I was going to go there, but the job was too heavy. And then the individual that promoted me became the country manager for our company in Spain. So 6 months later, he called me and said, hey, I have an opportunity in Barcelona. 10 days later, I was living in Spain. I had a roommate. I said, keep my stuff. I'm out of here. And because I figured, when am I going to get an opportunity like this?
For sure.
I was at that young age.
And you were single then, right?
Single at the time.
What are you?
23, go live in Barcelona. So I moved over there in '89. I came back, and I started progressing in my career.
So you moved over there working for the logistics company?
Yeah, for T&T.
For T&T. And you were there how long?
About 2 years, a little under 2 years.
Those 2 years, you worked for them?
I worked for them the whole time.
And when you came back to America, still working for them?
Okay, no, I left them. I missed living and coming home. So I moved back to the U.S. and I went to work for Aaron Rents, the furniture rental company. And
you're in Houston?
First in Miami, then in Fort Myers for a short stint, and then they needed a regional promotion, moved to Houston. And I really thought Houston was going to be one of the cities on the stop. I just had this view of I'm going to travel anywhere the job takes me. I was young enough.
I got one of those guys thinking Houston is just a bunch of cowboys.
I didn't know enough about Houston.
Because people still think that.
Yeah.
Like, I'm going to Houston. You guys have horses?
Yeah, I didn't think about it that much. I knew it was oil capital, and I had learned a little bit. And this is before the internet, so there wasn't a lot of discovery available before you moved to a city. And at that age, I was open to anywhere, so I didn't think about, am I gonna like it or not? I'm like, let's just do it, let's figure it out. I was more of an adventurous mindset, and I didn't think this would be where I was gonna live the rest of my life, but I know it is now. Got married, and then we adopted Leanna, and I know we'll talk a little about Petra Cares and that connection, and then divorced, married now to Kimberly now for 15 years. And life became here. So life was here, and then opportunities progressed with different organizations. And
okay, so you moved back. You're working for Aaron Reynolds,
right?
And then what?
And then someone presented me with an opportunity to work in the food industry. There was a couple of other jobs in between. Inconsequential. And I said, this sounds great. So I joined this organization. It was a part of Quaker Oats at the time. It was Continental Coffee. It was a big coffee roasting facility. Just a million pounds a week to give you a scope of how much coffee was being roasted. And I progressed through that organization, so I became the plant manager. And in becoming plant manager, I remember someone from the HR, at that point we had sold the business to Sara Lee. Someone from HR said, notice that you didn't finish college. We were looking at your file. So I went back to college and I finished rapidly. I always share with folks that my last semester at U of H, I was working full-time as a plant manager, and I took 18 hours because I wanted to be done. And folks, I said, when you've been in the world, school becomes a lot easier.
It does.
You understand it. And you're willing to put the hours in to get it done. So I graduated proudly from U of H downtown, and then I progressed through that company. I became in charge of North America logistics, for the coffee division, and it was a great career move. And then I eventually left that and started more of an entrepreneurial.
Is that the coffee place in downtown over by Washington? Was that the plant, or was it different?
There's two plants. There was the old Maxwell House plant,
right,
and then and then there was a Continental Coffee, which neither are operating as plants
today, right?
Today,
yeah.
But I'm sure the Continental Coffee will be some sort of condominiums, high-end condominiums,
Right.
as the east side of Houston.
What is it, ELO or whatever it's called?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Okay, so you become a plant manager, they sell it, and then what?
So I was over logistics for North America in that role, and then they wanted me to move to Chicago because I was commuting back and forth, and I had divorced, single dad at the time. I said, no, my daughter's here. I have to live where my daughter is. I'll commute, but I'm not moving to Chicago. So we parted ways, and I met an individual that was running a plastic logistics organization, chemical logistics, and he needed a day-to-day person to run the day-to-day. So his name's Mark Levine, and he and I partnered up, and I remember joining through the organization. Soon after, we had to take the organization through Chapter 11 bankruptcy, very difficult. That I'm in this entrepreneurial thinking company. We come in and out in 6 months, and then I started discovering, and I discovered this EOS, this entrepreneurial operating system, which is what I do today. We successfully sold the business in 2019. I went to work for the private equity-backed company.
So you developed that system when working in that.
It's the system. The EOS existed already. Someone presented it to us. A good friend of mine, Kurt Schneider, presented it to us. He was an EOS implementer, which is what I do now, and we said, we need this for our business. This operating system, and it's not a software operating system, it's the people operating system, like harnessing the human energy of an entrepreneurial company. So we implemented EOS, and it was a game changer for us. It created, clarity around vision, discipline, and accountability, the traction, and became a healthy team. And we started growing the business, and at one point, Mark said, I need to sell the business. I want to retire. All my wealth is and everything I've worked for is in this business. And we wanted to take care of everybody in the business, so we met up with a great investment bank local here in Houston, Statesman, and we put a plan together to sell the business, and we had a very, very successful exit. And in that discovery, not immediately, should have happened sooner, I went to work for the private equity-backed platform company. I wanted to become an implementer. I wanted to do what this individual, Kurt Schneider,
Did for you guys.
did for us. I wanted to do that with other entrepreneurs. And now I'm blessed to work with a lot of entrepreneurs, one of them being the founder of BB's, Brooks Bassler. That's why we're here. And then other entrepreneurs in all kinds of industries.
But so just to make sure I get it. So you left or when you guys sold that company that Mark had,
Right.
then you went to the private equity?
Yeah, they bought us, and we bought other companies.
So the private equity that bought you, you stayed with them?
Correct.
And then left them and started doing the coaching of EOS.
Exactly. Working with entrepreneurs.
How long did you stay in the private equity?
A little over 2 years.
Did you like it?
There was there was stuff to like. I liked the people. It wasn't for me, and not all private equity is the same. It was very hard work, very difficult.
It's tough.
And I felt my passion was elsewhere. It was, what's my purpose going to be in life?
Right.
And I've discovered now, as I made this decision, that I can make a greater impact working as an EOS implementer and working with other entrepreneurs.
You are a great coach, and just, our relationship as we've grown in our friendship and seeing you talk to other people, there is no doubt that your calling is coaching. Is you have the ability to talk to people.
Oh, thank you.
Right? And not in a necessarily rough way. You have an ability you're here, and you can walk them to here. In a very Sam unique way. I've seen that in the short time that we've been friends. So I think you're right when you say it's, you found your calling, you found your passion, maybe.
Yeah.
In what you do there. And so some of your clients are who? If you can mention. You don't have to if you don't
No,
want to.
I mean, look, obviously here at BB's is a client. I have clients, what's beauty about EOS, the business, the industry that they're in doesn't matter. So I have great clients in the steel business. North Shore Steel is a prominent organization here in Houston. Lodge Lumber, J.W. Lodge and his organization are clients. I have folks in cybersecurity, intelligence, vocational, phone software, brain consulting and tax incentives, just all types of, and I have clients in other cities outside of Houston that I travel to that are in other industries, the steel industry, Huntington Steel in Huntington, West Virginia, a wonderful organization. But they're
And
all
you're-
very similar.
And so remember again, equity operating system. What is it called again?
Entrepreneurial
operating system,
system.
which is not focused on a program. It's focused on people.
So when I work with the leadership teams and the entrepreneurs of organization, we make them better in 3 areas we focus on. One is vision. So we work to get the entire leadership team aligned on that unifying vision. Where do they want to go? How do they want to get there? We make them better in the area of traction. So what lacks in a lot of large organizations is they focus a lot on the vision, but they don't develop discipline and accountability to get to that vision. So traction allows you, so that anywhere you go in the organization, you see everybody working towards that vision. And the third component is healthy. Making the leadership teams open and honest with each other, vulnerable with each other, creating healthy. You know, we learned that from Patrick Lencioni, talks about you have to be both healthy and smart. And most people go to business school and they learn about being smart, but they miss the success factor about healthy. And then what we discover is, with EOS, is as goes the leadership team, as goes the rest of the
For
organization.
sure, that's 100%.
So that's really the areas we work with. And it's exciting personally for me because working with entrepreneurial companies, I firmly believe, and we know that the data shows that you run an entrepreneurial company, you're an entrepreneur, that the success of our country and most countries is the entrepreneur. We always follow the large organizations, you know, what's Tesla doing, what's Amazon doing, but the entrepreneurial business is
middle is the backbone that hire the most people above the corporations, but you
and they give the greatest opportunity to individuals.
Yeah, and give the most back to the community, actually, too.
Yeah, for sure.
You know, and especially percentage-wise of people ratio.
Yeah.
You know, in that. And you told me something one time, and again, I don't want to butcher it, but you said that people hire you, but you don't want them to be a customer forever. Something like that, right? Was that you?
Maybe not me.
Okay.
So you mean when your clients hire you?
When you start working for somebody, you.
Oh, no, you're right. I did. So you said it correctly. I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
So
because sometimes people bring consultants, and those consultants are forever.
So we don't consult. We're not consultants.
Right.
Occasionally, if someone's going to make a mistake, I'll say, look, let me put on my consultant hat. I don't want you to go out of business. But we're 3 things. We're facilitators, teachers, and coaches. And you're right. I never tried to embed myself in the business. I am only there to help them implement EOS and then get the heck out of the way and let them run the business. One of the things we believe in firmly, and I believe in firmly, is as facilitators, we're facilitating the wisdom in the room. So I work with the folks here from the leadership team from BB's. I don't know anything about running a restaurant. I know how to eat food, and I'm a great customer, but you didn't bring me in for what I can help you. You brought me in to coach you and facilitate you and teach you EOS and facilitate the wisdom in the room, because the answers are always sitting in that room. Consultants, on the other hand, they may be answer people and have a longer term relationship.
Obviously not all, but a lot of consultants want to continue that gig.
Right.
That's why when you said that, it impressed me, because you're coming in with a purpose.
Exactly.
And when the purpose is achieved, you get out of the way.
Yes.
That's, to me, shows the heart, the intent. You know, you were talking about how you're going to bring the whole team together to make sure that we're all going to the same vision and mission of the company. That you have already. I'm going to come in here, we're going to do this, and then I'm out.
Exactly.
You know?
Exactly.
Call me if you need me again, but I'm going to get out of the way and let you guys do it, which I think shows a lot of integrity in a company that comes in and coaches and motivates and helps put a team together that can do the dream that they have to do.
Yeah, because what we discover, you know what it is? It's not lack of vision, it's lack of vision alignment. And when you get that vision aligned, where everybody's rowing in that one direction,
magic happens.
And then you instill the discipline and accountability to ensure that it's happening everywhere in the organization. It's amazing.
Yeah, I mean,
imagine a football
team that everyone has a different plan.
Exactly.
Every person on the field has a different playbook. Be chaotic.
Exactly.
We all want to win. We all know that we got to get the ball over there. But if we all have a different playbook, it would be chaotic. You got to bring all those players in and go, this is the one playbook, and this is this is how we're going to do it.
Exactly.
You know?
And the healthy component allows that to happen, because when you have a healthy leadership team, they can discuss and debate. They're open and honest, open in the sense they're open to the other's point of view. They're honest, they say it with firm belief. They're vulnerable, they know what they're not good at. And when that healthy factor lines up with the vision and traction component, those three components are what really differentiate what we do with leadership teams and really make for great leadership teams when those three things are working well.
That's great. That's really great. What are 2 pieces of advice that you can give somebody new in your career, or just piece of advice you've learned through life? If somebody is starting out, right, they're now working at Aaron Rentals,
Right.
and they want to be the next Sam Diaz. What are 2 things that you can tell them to do to help them get there?
Get your statement to question ratio correct. So as a leader, as a manager, we always tell folks, should be 80% questions and 20% statements. So as you get really good at asking curious questions and making less statements. So more to the effect when you're helping someone.
Gather more data.
Yeah, what would you do instead of telling someone what to do? Hey, what would be the best way for us to solve this? And this continue to happen, what questions, how questions, discovery questions are stickier when the solution happens versus telling them. So that would be number one. And then really the number 2 ties to that is have incredible curiosity. When I look back at my first management job in Barcelona, and I got to reunite with some of the folks that was their boss, and there was a sense to and apologize, because I was a terrible boss, manager, when I was young, because I thought I knew too much. I didn't know anything.
Yeah.
And I won't use curse words.
Right,
but
yeah,
there's a strong as a word that for what I'm expressing. I really didn't know. So I would tell young people, be curious. You don't have to know it all. And like I said, the first one, get good about asking questions. Good
Don't
discovery.
be afraid to
questions.
ask questions.
The wisdom is probably in the individual doing the work. So if you're a manager over a restaurant, for example, if you're at a restaurant and you want to see why things are going on in the kitchen, hopefully we're different. We'll ask the folks in the kitchen questions about how could we make this better, what should we do differently, versus just making statements, because that discovery is stickier. They're going to then want to do that because they participated in the solution.
All right, let's talk about Petra Cares as we wrap up. So everybody knows Petra Cares obviously is our foundation. We go out to kids exiting the foster care program, disadvantaged, maybe in trouble with the law, and we bring them into Petra and teach them a trade, and then get them a job. Within 7 weeks, they learn this trade. So what attracted you? And we appreciate it. Thank you for being on the board. You've been an incredible blessing to Petra Cares and to our board team. Why did you accept? Why did you agree to come on board? What's special about Petra Cares that you said, I want to be part of this?
So and I know Sheridan, it's emotional for me, because when you approached me and Eric Merchant told me about it when he met you, and I knew I needed to work with you. As I mentioned earlier, my daughter Leanna, we adopted her, and she's 23, and her and her stepmom, my wife Kimberly, have befriended a homeless lady that lives in her neighborhood. I live here in the Heights, and at one point Leanna came home, and I said, that could be me if I wouldn't have been adopted. And that's always stuck with me. And when this opportunity to help Petra Cares for these at-risk individuals that have never had that love of a home, a stability of home, and been in the foster program, and have really not had someone guide them along in their life like you and I have had. When I heard the mission of Petra Cares, which I know the mechanism we use is to teach them automotive skills, and now I know we're going to open other programs. But it's really what you've said, is it's the first time they get love. And really what we do at Petra Cares is love them, encourage them, and let them know that their life experience to this point doesn't mean that that's the rest of their life. That this is an opportunity where they can shift and say, there are people out there to support you. And the mission continues because we have all these partner dealerships and maintenance shops and other partners of ours that then hire these individuals and confirm to them what we told them during the 7 weeks that we have them, that you will be loved, you will be cared for. And I think that's what our network does. They continue that love and support and caring that they've never, and maybe this is the shift in their belief, and they start believing that it is possible, because the first half of their life has been this, it doesn't exist for them.
Yeah, I think that's it. I think that's it. You've got a personal story. You adopted a daughter at a young age. She's loved and doing great. You guys are going on this trip. Her wisdom to go and realize that had that fate not gone that way, anybody, not just her, could have been homeless, right? One wrong turn, one wrong decision. Very smart of her to, because that's also showing gratitude.
Yeah.
Right? Thankfulness that she was adopted, while having the heart of, man, that could be anybody.
Could be anybody.
That could be anybody.
That could be anybody.
And I think that's what Petra Cares, we take these kids that we realize that, they got dealt a bad hand. These kids were born sometimes in situations that obviously wasn't their fault. Some of them didn't make decisions that are their fault. But regardless, you bring them in and you teach them a new way through love, and it changes them and generations to come. And we obviously have the proof. We've seen it. It's there. We're going to have a great reunion here coming up soon, where we're bringing all the kids back and just talking to them. We're going to videotape it and just see how their lives are doing. But, I know it sounds corny. I said this yesterday as well. Love changes.
Sure.
And when you ask them, what do you want, more than anything else, they want a family.
Yeah.
Because they never had that. They may find a place that'll give them a meal. They may find a place that'll give them a roof. You just can't walk out and find a family.
Right.
And so we become their family, and the dealers become their family.
Okay.
The employers become their family. And so, well, Sam, we thank you for being part of it. Wish you
Richie,
all the best with continued success. You're well loved, very well respected. Keep doing what you're doing, and thank you for being part of the team.
Oh, I love it. I'm glad to be part of it.
Thank you, brother.
Thank you.
Thank you for listening to Wheels, Deals, and Meals, your main source for all things good and fun, business, food, and cars. If you like this episode, make sure to rate us and subscribe. If you would like to be a guest on our show, please leave a message at the link below. Till next time, happy eating!